Every person has a journey, a reason for being who they are. Have you ever looked at someone and wondered, who really is this person? How did they get here? What's their story? Well, that's why this podcast was created, to listen to other people's life stories. Welcome to the My Story podcast. I'm your host, Ari. Welcome back to another episode of the My Story podcast. I'm Ari. Today we have two guests, so I'm excited about that. We have An back. I said that wrong.
Yeah, that was horrible, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'll ignore
okay.
it. It's fine.
I have Anne back. You guys love her. We know her. Norway here in the house, but we also have Keara.
Hello.
Hi, Keara.
Hi.
Okay, let's first ask you, who are you? This is the first time here, so say your name. Let's talk a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm gonna say my full name so you know it now. You know the inside.
It's my first
joke.
time hearing your full name.
My name is Keara Rhiann Sweeney.
Oh,
Isn't that so cool? We were literally connected before we even met each other.
Meant to be, whatever.
That is so cute.
Yeah. So
oh my god, you have the cutest name though.
Thank
It's
you.
like fits your whole personality.
Thank you.
So fun fact, Anne is one of our she's part of our friend group that me and Anne talked a bit. The third episode is what it was. But so talk about your last name. Because in every episode, we usually talk about last names and their history a little bit.
We didn't really do that.
We didn't do that with you.
I'm coming back.
Well, you are back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess.
So I actually did a project about this last semester at my old school.
Cool.
So I'm Irish.
Okay.
My name originated from Ireland. Basically, it's like my great-great-great-grandpa came over here.
Oh, wow.
I think. So, like, it's, like, fairly recent. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, yeah, I came over here, like,
Decades ago.
eons ago.
Yeah.
Well, decade is only 10 years. So, like.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I thought you said 5. That's why I said. My bad.
But
5 years ago she came here.
Yeah, 5 years ago. But basically, our name over there was the McSweeneys. So a lot of people that moved over here changed the, like, name when they came over here so they could be, quote-unquote, normal. So they took off the Mick off of it. But in Ireland, we were actually, like, the warriors. We fought for, like, this, like, small king. Like, he wasn't, like, well-known or anything. But, like, we fought, like, for him.
Yeah.
And he actually built us, it's called a castle, but it's not really a castle. It was more like a tower that had, like, floors on it. And it's, like, the old school, like, climb up the ladder. And then you'd have to pull up the ladder to go to the next one. And, like, do all the things. And, like, we would, like, beat up people and, like, shoot them and, like,
Okay,
This
that's
reflects
all
so
down.
well in her character.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
typical Keara.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
All she does.
And just
Okay.
fight people off. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm,
Okay.
like, all Irish, which makes sense because I'm short. But, you know.
Wow. That was
That's
wow.
You're gonna get canceled, but okay.
No. That's not what she meant, but it is what she said. But I'm short too, and I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So
I'm tall.
but yeah, you're tall. You can't enter
Can't
this
relate.
conversation.
I'm sorry.
But
I don't
but
get to.
either way, that's interesting about your last
Yes.
name. Thank you for sharing that.
Of
so
course.
last episode we talked. I have 2 last names because in Puerto Rico we use 2, our fathers and our mothers actually. So
Oh.
yeah. So in our last names, we have our father's last name, and then we have our mother's last name. So in each generation, it starts off like that.
So, like,
That's really
does
cool.
your mom change her name? Or
No,
does she keep
doesn't.
her name?
She keeps her name.
Okay.
When my mom marries my dad, the women keep her name, but their children have
Gets both.
hyphenated names. So my
like,
mom
does it
my
get
kind of
longer
person.
every time?
No, we just drop a name. So
Oh.
yeah.
So you just pick
my
whichever
mom-
you want?
No, okay. My mom still has her dad's last name with her mom's last name. When she has us, we just add our dads and our moms. And that's how
But
the
which
cycle
one of them?
continues. The first one.
Oh, so you always get, like, your grandpa's name?
Yeah,
Oh.
technically. For my
Okay.
dad's side.
Yeah.
It's kind of
No, it makes
complex.
sense.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
But not to talk about me. I just wanted to.
Yes.
Fun fact.
No,
That's
it's
not about
okay.
me,
But
That like
No, you're good.
made
we
me
can talk
think.
about
It's
that
fun
later.
to,
Yeah.
to hear
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
actually.
so we are here because in the episode we had with Anne, we kind of talked about you. We talked good things. It was good
All
things.
bad things.
No.
Okay.
You. Why are
Well.
you?
It was good things. So
Yeah.
we were basically talking, and she was almost cried because
I don't know that happened, but okay.
she got sentimental towards the end. She
Okay,
actually
me
mentioned
too.
that coming to America for the first time and meeting someone like you made her transition even easier
Yes.
because not everyone gets necessarily along with their roommate, or especially it was the first time here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get so lucky, was her words, to have a roommate like you. So
You're welcome.
Wow.
so
I was gonna cry, but I'm not gonna cry anymore.
I wanted to talk a bit about you guys, because especially for you, because we talked a little bit about her. How was it? Is this your first time having an international student roommate?
Yes, and this is actually my first time having a roommate in general.
Okay.
So I went to a community college, which is only supposed to take 2 years, but it took me 4. So whatever. Anyways,
fact.
so I lived with my parents that whole time because the community college was only like 20 minutes from my
Okay.
house.
Yeah, makes
so like
sense.
there's no point in me
Yeah.
living over there. So I saved money and lived with my parents. And so now that I'm here, it's obviously farther away.
Yeah.
So like I'm staying in the dorm. So like this is my first time living with someone in general
Okay.
that's not my parents. So like that was already like a big thing to me. And then finding out like one of my roommates isn't even from here, like absolutely
Isn't
blew
even
my
from
mind. Like I texted her on Instagram, and, like not thinking like all the pictures on your Instagram. I was like, oh, so she traveled. No, that's not what happens. She
Like, first
actually
time
lives there. That's her
I just
life.
travel to Norway every week. It's like,
I
whatever.
didn't know like what it was, or
Oh,
I
so she
thought maybe
traveled.
like you were a transfer student, like you went over there to like
Yeah.
for like a semester and then you came here, but like you, I don't know, like I don't know what my brain was thinking, but like
fine. Yeah.
it like shocked me. I was like, oh wait,
Okay, so what's your reaction when you saw her? Like first of all, when you knew her that she was actually from Norway. When you realized that.
I guess
I
like
just told you.
yeah, like I kind of asked. I was like, so like where are you from? She's like, oh, I'm from Oslo, Norway.
She's like, yes.
And
Well,
I
you
was
kinda
like,
did answer
wait,
that. That was my
what?
bad.
I was like, wait a second. What did you just say?
What do you mean?
And she's like, do you know where that is? And I'm like,
No, not really.
I kind of failed
that's-
geography.
That's what I wanted to know, because one thing is like actually knowing she's an international, I guess,
Yeah.
but
But, like,
actually knowing where.
Well, like I have
That's
an
why I
idea of like where Norway is, and like I have an
I had
idea
to
of
look
like
it
where
up.
Puerto Rico is, but like it's not like in my normal thing. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
Americans are very good at just focusing on themselves
America,
Yeah.
and not worried about the rest of the world.
I was like,
Like you guys all know about America. Like you know what
Yeah.
America is, you know what they do here. You obviously know about the politics. Like everything. But like to us, we don't
know anything about
worry
the
about the rest of the world. Like that's
No.
such a bad thing to say, but like it's
No,
so
but it's
true.
true.
It's
like
true.
It's
It's
fine. It's not
true,
your
though.
fault. It's the way
it's
that
not
the
something
society
we
here
think
works.
about.
Yeah.
So, how has your mentality changed now that you have that in mind? Especially since technically, out of the group we're 5, and you're the only American.
Yeah. It's kind of like weird. No, but like
Explain why. Why is it like? What's
in
your
all reality,
perspective
like it's
on it?
honestly really cool. Like I didn't think coming here I would be able to meet you guys. Like I was so scared that like I wouldn't have a friend group here
Yeah.
because I was so close to people back home, which
Makes
it's
sense.
very easy for me to make friends, but it's also like really scary in the fact. So like it was really cool just having to like be a friend with Anne, and then she's like, "Hey, I have this friend group, like we're hanging out today." Okay, cool. And then like I instantly got clicked in. Like it was we
was-
all just honestly like
We
clicked.
just clicked.
Yeah.
So,
and
nice.
it's just so cool, like, hearing all your guys' stories and, like, trying different candies and, like, just everything.
We
like,
talked about the Norwegian candies.
it just, like, I don't know, blows my mind. Like, all the different things that we all were raised differently. We all were
Yeah.
taught different things. Like, I don't know. In my head, like, everybody's raised the same way, but it's
They're
not,
really not,
that
yeah.
way.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I asked, because we think, it's something Anne mentioned, we think that everyone's the same because of where we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're exposed to other people, it's like, wait, no, we actually
Yeah.
are very
different.
different.
Yeah.
Like right now in this table, we're so different. Like Latino, American, and Europe
Yeah.
over here. Like, well, Norway.
Norwegian. Europe is very culturally,
You're
different.
it
Yeah.
is. It really is.
but it's fine.
But I mean, like in the geographical sides of it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Especially just, like, coming here in general to, like, SEMO, because at my community college, like, I grew up basically around the people that went there. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
all, like, all the different towns all together, like, went there. So, like, coming here, I'm, like, opening up to, like, so many new things. Like, I've met so many people who are part of the LGBTQ community that, like, I didn't have in my small town.
Yeah.
Or, like, different people from different countries and, like, just all around, like, different backgrounds that, like, I didn't have in my small town. So it's really, like, not necessarily a shock, but, like, it's just different
Yeah.
than how it was back home. Does that make sense?
It
Yeah,
does. It does make
absolutely
sense,
does.
especially getting it from your perspective.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to, at this point, different people, different students from all over the place, and they've mostly mentioned the culture shock of coming to America. But I wanted to get your perspective on how you have embraced the different cultures in America, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, that makes sense. So, moving back to you guys' experience as roommates, how has that been, you guys being different? At the same time, you guys are, like, kind of alike.
We're very similar.
You're
it's
very
kind of
similar,
scary.
but
Yeah, but also quite different in a lot of ways.
But I'm
Yeah.
speaking more in the sense of culture. Because I know in personality-wise, you're kind of the same.
Yeah.
You just talk the same
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of scary to my point.
We did that the second day of meeting each other.
Yeah,
So, like,
it's not new. We've had a lot of moments where it's like,
I'm like, wait, what? Like, we were watching
bread.
a movie. Oh, bread is a very difficult topic to talk about.
Why is bread?
because it's food, and I have a thing.
She has a
this
thing
was
with
actually
food.
their
She
problem.
does
This
have
was
a
their
thing
problem. I was talking about like what we eat for breakfast and lunch and stuff in Norway,
Yeah.
which is it's like healthy bread.
Yeah. Bread.
With like spread on it. Like you got like whatever you want. Really.
Yeah.
And she and her boyfriend, we were at like Walmart, and they looked at me like, ew.
No, because what she does, all the people from the United States are going to, like, understand what I'm saying right now.
Okay,
She
okay.
eats a piece of bread with butter and lunch meat on it. Tell me that isn't weird.
It's not.
It kind of isn't.
Butter and lunch meat? It makes sense if, like,
Wait,
you
but what do
toast
you mean by
the bread.
butter?
Not what you have here.
Because when
Not
you
what
say
you have
butter,
here.
I imagine a block of butter.
Yes,
just
when
on
you
the,
say
No,
butter,
but you also have butter spread like.
the butter spread.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's
that
what
makes
you
more
have on
sense.
it. You don't have take like
She's
a
like
block
the
of cheese,
butter.
a
But,
block
like,
of butter.
even just butter and lunch meat?
No.
Girl,
I
what?
mean-
Yeah. So we have some of these
No.
moments where it's like, girl, what are you
Or,
talking
like,
about?
some things, like, I don't even think about. Like, we were watching a movie. We were watching Rise of the Guardians, okay? And
Okay.
so, if you haven't seen that, like, it's basically, it has, like, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and Tooth Fairy and, like, all the different things.
The classic.
But, like, Santa Claus has a Russian accent. The
Okay.
Easter Bunny has an Australian accent. And she was like, oh, Santa Claus has a Russian accent? Like, questioning it. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, the Easter Bunny has an Australian accent. I was like, yeah? Like, what do
Why
you
are
mean?
you pointing out the
And
obvious?
she's like, they don't have that in Norway. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it didn't click in my brain that her movies are in Norwegian. Like, I just assumed that they were in English. I don't know. And she's like, we don't have like an Australian Norwegian accent. And I was like,
that would be interesting.
what?
I don't know what that would be though.
No,
Yeah.
she
It's just
tried
like a really
a couple
bad
days
Norwegian
ago.
accent.
And it was just,
That's actually fun. I have never thought about it as. Wait. I have never thought about it as now as you said it. Like,
It's like, oh,
yeah. Because
Yeah.
in Spanish, you can do different accents, but it just. Different Latino accents. Like,
yeah.
Colombians do not sound the same as Mexicans
No,
or Puerto
Right.
Ricans.
like we
or-
have different
Right.
Norwegian accents, obviously, because it's very like stretched country, and some
Right.
people like I don't know what they were talking about. I can't understand what they're saying.
Okay.
A lot of people actually, but we don't like you can't like be like, oh, you can tell that he's from Australia and he's
Right.
Norwegian. Like you can't do that.
Okay.
So we do have the Guardians do have different accents from different places in Norway. Like I think Santa Claus is from like northern Norway, which makes
Yeah.
sense because that basically it's the North Pole, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not. They're not Australian. They're not Russian. They're not like you know what I mean.
Yeah. It actually makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
in the sense of people who are producing movies, animated movies, who want to spread it throughout the whole world, they actually have
Yeah.
to think beyond what we are thinking. You can just
like,
not
I've
make
never,
it just
like,
English.
it never popped in my mind that, like, that was a thing. Like, I just
Yeah.
assumed that everybody watched
Yeah.
Same thing,
English.
the same
But, like, I
language.
don't, like,
You're
I
gonna-
knew,
if
like,
you meet
people
a French
don't.
person, you're gonna that's gonna be
They're gonna
fun.
hate me.
No, they're gonna love you. You're amazing. Is the point. So
Yeah.
basically, one of the questions I wanted to ask is, what is your take or something you would say as being a full American? Full American sounds weird, but being like American.
I
That
understand.
sounds weird.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's been a lot of international.
You good?
My head is all over the place right now. But being American, what can you say to other people who encounter other international people and students? Because you have had a lot of patience with Anne and with other students you have encountered. Because some things are just not normal for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird in a sense because we're not accustomed to it. And you have had so much patience to like explaining what each thing is. So what is something you can share about that?
I think just having patience ultimately is like the main thing. Like for me, I'm a very patient person. Like I want to work with kids when I'm older.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you have to be patient with kids or
You
like
do?
they won't.
I don't like the similarities.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But like
I
that's
want to work
just
with kids, so I'm
that's-
perfect actually for
no,
handling her.
that's not what I'm saying.
Don't
I'm
take
just
her
saying,
out of
like, with
context.
kids, when you're explaining something, you have to be patient because, like, they don't understand it either. So you have to, like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, like, relate you to kids, but, like, that's,
you're
like,
good.
what my brain does
I
because
actually-
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it
be a
makes sense.
teacher. So, like, when you're explaining something to kids, sometimes you need to go more in-depth detail than you would with adults. And I guess it's kind of like what I do with you guys, but like not at the same time, like
Yeah.
not in a disrespectful
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
But,
we
like,
get it, we get it.
Like for Anne, like sometimes I'll talk about something and then I'm like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you know what that is? And sometimes she'll be like, yeah, like I know what you're saying. Or other times she's like, I know. Like what? So
But-
sometimes you have to just figure out like what they know and then just kind of be patient with them and have a conversation. They're
Yeah.
people, they're humans. Like just because they were raised in a different country doesn't mean that they're different. You know?
Yeah.
Like you guys aren't aliens, okay? Like you're literally human beings.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Anne just awkwardly said.
I'm human. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Other than my humor is really
Thank
out of
you.
this world. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
One thing I was going to mention is that you has also been very empathetic. Like sometimes when we say something that is incorrect or we don't understand something or we just don't know something, you don't mock us. You're mostly like, no, this is just that, except for Anne. Sometimes she does make fun. No, I was joking.
Yeah, she
Sorry.
actually makes fun of me every single day of my life.
We actually
But-
said that that's just her love language.
It is, yeah.
It's just
She's
Yeah.
just mocking people is her love language.
Yeah.
But I also want to say thank you because I've been here for some time, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and the short amount of time we have actually shared within the group, you've always been so nice and very understanding with everyone in the group, and that is
I'm gonna cry.
just so
For
cute.
real.
That is just so amazing, and that's I think why we call you like our little princess, because you're just like the princess of the valley, and just
Princess of
very
the
Valley.
understanding.
There we go,
I don't
yeah.
know, that just popped in my head, but you've just been so nice to everyone, and just very understanding and very empathetic with each story.
The best
And
American
just-
I know. You're the best American I know.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
don't know. a lot of
Thanks.
Americans.
But to be
Of
fair,
the ones
you
I do
know-
know, you're great.
to be fair, yeah, your friends are from very different places of the world.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you of
course.
that, because you're just amazing. So thank you guys for this episode. It was really interesting.
Yes.
We got to talk about you guys a little bit. We got to know your perspective on things.
I would love to come back.
Hopefully we're gonna have you back, just you, to get more in depth of you,
Yes.
instead of having Anne here making awkward
You
jokes.
guys are gonna cry if I'm not there to like. That's
well,
funny.
we can have you behind the scenes.
just sit in the corner and be
Sit
like
in the corner.
making a joke.
Incorrect.
I was like,
Incorrect.
you're rude.
No. To be fair, Anne almost cried too in her
Yeah,
podcast.
she told
but-
me. You're welcome.
No, I cried when you showed me Wesley. I didn't really cry in this episode.
Anyways, guys,
Anyways.
that
Don't cry.
has been our episode for today. Thank you so much.
Yes.
See you next time.
See ya.
If you joined us today, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs some little inspiration. We'll be back next week for another incredible story. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, keep embracing the stories that are all around us. Thanks for tuning in to My Story Podcast.